All right, let's just jump right in. We're making a pretty huge claim today that you, yes you, can actually outperform one of the greatest investors of all time. I know it sounds completely nuts, right? But stick with me because we're about to break down exactly how it might just be possible. So let's just ask the question straight up. Can you, with what you have in your account, really beat the returns of a living legend like Warren Buffett, a guy who has billions of dollars and an army of the smartest analysts on the planet at his beck and call? And the answer, and this might genuinely surprise you, is a loud and clear yes. And we're not talking about getting lucky on some wild bet. We're talking about a structural advantage that's literally built into the market itself. So let's get into how that works. Okay, so to get this, you first have to understand the sheer scale of the competition. Think about Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway or any of those other gigantic hedge funds. They are the Goliaths of the investing world. They're managing hundreds of billions of dollars. They can move markets with a single trade. But here's the thing about being a giant, right? Your biggest strength, that massive size, well, it also creates a very specific and very real weakness. It's like an Achilles heel that they can't do anything about. And look, this isn't just some crazy theory I dreamed up. This is a concept that was really laid out by the brilliant investor Joel Greenblatt. He was one of the first to really pinpoint this inefficiency in the market, this chink in Goliath's armor that they are structurally powerless to fix. The idea is just so powerful. Greenblatt basically pointed out that there's a special corner of the market where the whole game is flipped upside down, a place where the pros are actually the ones at a disadvantage and the small individual investor, you, has the real edge. And that special quarter of the market, it's got a name. We're calling it the Bronze League. And this is the battlefield where your size becomes your secret weapon. Now, to understand it, we just need to quickly define one key term. And that term is market capitalization, or just market cap for short. It sounds fancy, but it's dead simple. You just take the company's share price and multiply it by all the shares out there. That's it. It's just a quick way to see how big a company is. You know, a company like Apple has a market cap in the trillions. But honestly, we don't care about the giants today. We care about this number, $1 billion. And this is not some random number I pulled out of a hat. This is a critical dividing line. It's the fence that separates the world where the Goliaths have to play from a world they can't even get into. And this is the whole key. The Bronze League is made up of companies with a market cap under that $1 billion mark. Think of it like a special playground that's off limits to the big guys. They're just too big to fit through the gate. And this just shows you the insane difference in scale. On one side, you've got the majors, the huge, famous companies everybody knows. And on the other side, you've got this vast, often overlooked universe of smaller companies in the Bronze League. The big funds are forced to go fishing in that tiny, crowded pond with all the other sharks, while this entire ocean is left wide open for us. So how does this actually give you an edge? I mean, why can't the big guys just play here anyway? How does your slingshot actually work against Goliath? Well, it all comes down to a really simple problem of scale. The absolute best way to think about it is this. Imagine Warren Buffett wants to invest, say, $500 million. To him, that's practically a rounding error. But trying to put $500 million into a tiny little company that's only worth, say, $200 million, it's literally like trying to park an aircraft carrier in a parking spot built for a scooter. It's physically impossible. You'd crush the spot and everything around it. This really gets to the core of the whole thing. A giant fund needs to invest billions of dollars just to move the needle on their total performance. A $10 million profit, that means nothing to them. But for you, a much, much smaller profit could be a huge win. And these smaller companies are where that kind of explosive growth potential is often hiding. It is so much easier for a $100 million company to double in size than it is for a $2 trillion giant. So the big funds are basically handcuffed by three big problems here. First, investing in a tiny company is just too small to matter for their gigantic portfolios. Second, they run into liquidity traps. They can't buy or sell enough shares without sending the stock price into a frenzy. And finally, for them, it's just not worth the research. Why would they pay a whole team of expensive analysts to study a tiny little company? Their own size forces them to ignore this entire category. And this all brings us right back to you, because every single one of their constraints, it's your opportunity. When a whole field of companies is being ignored by the pros, it means they are way more likely to be misunderstood and, more importantly, mispriced. Their weakness isn't just your strength. It's your personal hunting ground. Just let that sink in. How many times have you heard someone say the stock market is a rigged game set up for the big institutions to win? And you know what? In a lot of ways, they're right. But in this one specific area, in the Bronze League, the game is still rigged. But for once, it's rigged for you. The most important thing to take away from all this is a shift in your thinking. You need to stop seeing your account size as a weakness. It's not. In the Bronze League, your size is your greatest strength. It's your all-access pass. It lets you be nimble and hunt in a territory where the giants are forbidden to go. So this whole part of the market, which is just full of potentially overlooked and undervalued companies, is completely off limits to the world's biggest and smartest money managers. They are locked out. The only question left is, what are you going to find inside?